What's up, everybody? The Lucasfilm animation team kept on doing their thing with episodes 3 and 4 of Maul Shadow Lord this week. Before I get into that pair of episodes, I'd appreciate it greatly if you subscribe to the channel. It's a huge help, so thank you. Now let's dive in. These episodes got going as Devon stumbled into Rook after breaking out of her cell last week, but the Mandalorian's not there to lock her up again. She's there to direct the young Jedi to Maul. She says that she sees a murderer when she gets to him, and like I said last week, I think all of her knowledge about the Zabrak warrior is from stories, hearing about Qui-Gon meeting his end on Naboo, and even I'd assume about Adi Gallia meeting hers on Florum when Maul and Savage ransacked Hondo's home. But anyways, Maul split his saber here as an offering to Devon, and I'm not gonna lie, I spent all of episode 3 thinking about whose saber this was before I realized that it was one half of Maul's. But the other thing that I couldn't stop thinking about was when, or if, but I do think it's when, Devon joins Maul. She takes that half and wraps it in some Yorick coral. For those of you who don't know, that's what Darth Talon's saber is wrapped in, so it could be a nice nod to her, even if Devon doesn't use that name in canon. And also, it would just be a cool Easter egg for the Yuzan Vong. That's only me thinking out loud, though. Getting back to what actually happened in this episode, we got round 2 versus the Pikes. The Janix police got to them first this time, and this is where Two Boots, the police droid, won me over. He shows off his skills, and the fight was very reminiscent of the assassin droids fights versus Anakin and Ahsoka in the R3 episodes of the Clone Wars Season 1. It's just not Star Wars without a great droid. With that being said, we saw Lawson going to be a good dad amidst the chaos on his planet, and this cleared up any questions about what's going on with his family. He gets a visit from Master Daki in the Bodakin Stadium, and that's like Star Wars lacrosse, and the family answers that we got is that his wife works for the Empire, and with that brought new questions about the history between the Jedi and the officer. So getting my tinfoil hat out for a second, since Janix isn't occupied by the Empire, I think it might have been the same way during the Clone Wars, not occupied by either side in the mid-rim, and that's why Lawson recalls the days of just 2 Jedi coming to help them, which is, only a few years before the war, but still, the point is, I think Daki might have been there on a mission in the past. I'm talking like before the Phantom Menace. Regardless, we had this shadow sequence between Maul and Devon stretching across most of this episode, and it was fantastic. He was on his preacher, which meant Sam Witwer was on his A game in the booth, and I just loved watching Maul's test unfold. Devon finds a way to, climb out of the cave, and he set all of this up so that he had multiple chances to win her over. But if you ask me, he for sure thought he was going to get her with his opening monologue. He almost got me, for fuck's sakes. He's got that delusion because, the Force told him that this is what's meant to be. It's great. Then with the other prisoner, Vario, Rook set a trap for Maul to regain control of the Pikes. We got to see Obadiah again in this week's episode. We, of course, saw it throughout the Clone Wars, and especially later in that show in Season 6, Obi-Wan and Anakin paid the Syndicate a visit when they were investigating Sifo Dyas' disappearance. We got a dope fight between them and Count Dooku in that episode. Then Ahsoka was there in Season 7 during those episodes that, we don't speak of, working alongside Bo-Katan. The first half of this pair came to a close as Devon made it to the top, only for Maul to be waiting right there for her. This was some Ra's al Ghul shit from the Zabrak, and another breathtaking fight from the animators, especially now that I'm listening, for them to be mixing Sam's screams into Maul's saber sounds. Every single time I hear it, the fight gets 10 times cooler. It's one of my favorite things that Lucasfilm, the OGs, or the new regime, the Disney regime, have ever done. But Devon saw her opening and took it, and for now, Maul settled for getting the second half of his saber back. I can't give enough props to Sam and Gideon Adlon for their work in the booth to amplify this fight with the animators. It's the best scene from the first 3 episodes, and it went back to the 2 goals that I mentioned last week. The first, opening her mind to his ways, which fed right into the second, getting to her master as we shifted into episode 4. That got going as Vario got put out on a hook for the Pikes like Rook had a box of Scooby snacks waiting for him back at HQ. But in all seriousness, he only knew the first part of this plan, and the second relied on him doing exactly what he did, betray Maul. They sent one of the Zabrak brothers with half a Maul's saber. Vario stuns him to deliver him to Marg Krim, and this fight had no reason to be as cool as it was, considering it wasn't even the main man himself doing doing the damage. But the plan worked. They don't figure out it's not him until they're back on Obadiah, and by then, it's too late. They delivered another insane fight as Maul made his return to the home of the Syndicate. He didn't break his sweat taking care of them. He took the throne, and then he installed a loyal puppet. Also, I thought it was pretty cool that they're incorporating his detachable saber into the story. That feels like something that Filoni realized he could do after Jedi Survivor did it. It's one of those things in Star Wars where this isn't always the case, but with this, it works in any medium. Then I gotta take a second to show some love to the visuals of the Janek sky with two moons. I didn't notice that last week. I'm not even sure if we saw it last week. I was just so wrapped up in the characters during the premiere, but I couldn't miss a painting in this scene. Stuff like this is when you know they're in their bag over at Lucasfilm Animation. Then as we went down into the city, Devon returns to her master, and we see Maul's influence in her aggression, wanting to bring him in. Even if her reasoning is that of a Jedi, and it is, to be fair, his job's not finished on this front just yet. She's still bringing Daki right to him. The same goes for Lawson. He got a tip from Daki once the Jedi decided their course of action, and he walked his team into a trap trying to keep the Empire away from his home. I wasn't sure if he got two boots shut down in time for this. I was screaming at him as he sat there waiting, but it didn't matter, and I'll get to that in just a second. Lawson took his team to finish things, and Maul went to his go-to move, trying to win his enemy over with their shared hatred of the Empire. He did it with Ahsoka, he did it with Ezra, he already did it with Devon, and in his final moments on Tatooine, next to the Jedi who cut him in half on Naboo, he saw the hope of his former master's demise. When the negotiations failed, Lawson and his men fought Rook and Maul's gang, although they were really just trying to survive, and the Jedi went after Maul. There hasn't been a bad fight in this show, and I don't know about you guys, but I lost my shit when he hit his little double skip during this fight. It's just so good. Then you had Devon making good of a chance that Obi-Wan wishes he could have had all those years ago on Naboo, saving Daki for now. Finally, getting back to Two Boots, Lawson got him shut down in time, but the first thing the droid did when it got rebooted was call in the Empire. I'd even bet, and this is just a theory, but I feel good about it, I'd bet that the Chief found him and ordered him to do it. Either way, a Star Destroyer arrives covering the planet in the darkness that comes with the Empire's occupation, and it's not a great time for Inquisitors to be here either. Daki's not in fighting shape, and we saw Maul saving Devon from one of them in the trailers. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, this was another great pair of episodes. Shadow Lord is 4 for 4 in my books. It fucking rules. Sam Witwer's just operating on a different level. This time around is Maul. The animation team is backing that performance up on their end, and we've gotten a ton of new characters that have built out this world so damn well. Every single thing is clicking. And so that's going to do it for my breakdown of Shadow Lord episodes 3 and 4. I want to know what you guys thought about them, so let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my coverage of the rest of the season. Smash that like button on your way out and make sure you have a great day.